Hello, my friends. It's Edison here. I'm back from Collecticon. This video is kind of quite a bit after I got back from Dallas Collecticon. I had so much stuff that I had to get done the moment my flight landed once I was back in New York, and I ended up getting really sick towards the end of the week. I'm starting to finally feel better, so I wanted to record a video about what I purchased. This right here that you see, this playmat, this Shining Mew, this CoroCoro Mew playmat, this is one of the things that I did pick up at Collecticon. So I want to go over, as I said, the cards I got at Collecticon. They're all pretty similar in terms of the overall theme. You're going to notice some trends. It's all stuff from the same exact era, all the same sort of rarity. It's all just ultra rare, so EX to level X. First off, I want to go through the EX I bought. I'm going to transfer them out of these top loaders a little bit later. But yeah, so I got Mightyena, Manectric, Skarmory. I'm trying to do, maybe I'll break them up into prices. I think these, pretty much a lot of the less popular stuff, it's not even less popular. I think my baseline price for a lot of these was around $40. And you could look at the condition as well. I should show some of these. I thought that they were, you know, light play plus, kind of borderline near mint to light play. That's a lot of the EXs that I have been buying, stuff that would either make very good binder copies or have a pretty solid chance at grading around an 8, so around like a near mint plus grade in terms of grading standards. And this stuff, you know, I think I might be paying towards like the top end of raw in this condition, but I've always mentioned that one of the benefits of buying these cards at a convention or like just in person, no matter where, is that you can actually inspect them and really, like if you buy from TCG Player Light Play, I think there's a lot of variance. But here you could do and weed out like anything that is outside of like your comfort zone in terms of condition. I think all of these were around $40. It's general baseline. All $40, all around light play, but then within that light play, I should say they vary. I think this Meganium was a little bit more of a genuine light play, like more of a 7. But I think this Metagross was pretty clean. This is a beautiful Groudon. This was also light play, but I think a lot of these were pretty borderline. You can notice that in a lot of these EXs I picked up, it's this top left-hand corner that has edgeware. And that's another thing that I've noticed with grading with CGC is I think that they've adjusted their grading practices to be dependent on the era that the card was in. I think this is like a general thing grading companies try to do, but I've definitely noticed it when I personally was sending out EX cards to get graded. I felt that CGC was a little bit more, I want to say maybe understanding of the quality control and the quality of the card stock of the EX cards. And then also just more understanding of those little bits of widening on the corners. Sorry, I'm ranting a bit about this. Regice, I thought this one was sick with that like Prism Hollow. And I've had all of these cards in Japanese. It just seemed fitting to start picking them up in English. And this is probably the most expensive EX that I picked up. This Swampert, which I believe is from EX Team Magma versus Team Aqua. This is probably the most expensive EX in the lot. It's marked at 100. I think I bought 3 EXs from this one seller, so I think they took off 20%, so I got this for 80. 80 is like pretty much right around what they go on TCG Player minus fees. In this condition, it was light play. But again, I inspected this card myself, and I thought it was a pretty nice looking light play copy. You're gonna have to excuse like the scratches on the dirt on the card savers on the top loaders. This one was really nice. This beautiful Lapras. These are definitely like the cheapest two, in terms of like resale. Magmar and Magcargo are incredibly cheap for e-reader cards. To me, like right now, I think the prices that I paid for all this stuff is kind of like the floor. I can't really see EXs getting much cheaper moving forward. I don't necessarily think that they're going to spike. I'm kind of getting the floor price for a lot of this stuff, so I might as well add on to it. And worst comes to worst, these all look really nice in a binder. And then finally, we have Wailord EX. So that was a very long explanation going over these EXs, but those are really sick to finally have. They're really nice to just flip through and have all at once. I think this is a mix of, I think this should be all of them that I purchased. These were more on the actual light play end of light play. You're not going to really be able to see them, but you can tell like the Leafeon was a little bit rough with edgeware there. These were genuine light play examples. I think Charizard was closer to between like Mod the Light. Those are the more expensive ones. A lot of these level X's are incredibly expensive, but there's one thing that I noticed from walking around Collecticon and listening to different people interact with vendors is you had a lot of people asking about this mid-era stuff. A lot of people were asking for EXs, Delta Species, and level X's. And another thing I noticed was a lot of vendors just didn't have much of it. I mean, this isn't like too much, but I mean, this is a decent amount of EXs. I do genuinely think that I bought a lot of the nicer condition EXs at the event that are in that pile. And a lot of the stuff that was left over was more heavy play, you know, cheaper stuff, you know, decently rough stuff. So I think I got good stuff there. And obviously, as I said, a lot of people are asking for level X's. And of all the, if you go to any convention, all the conventions I've been to, I feel like I rarely see raw English level X's for sale. This is just beautiful, beautiful stuff. You see a lot of EXs in comparison, and I think the price kind of reflects that for some of these cards, that some of these level X's are just more expensive than EXs. But you don't see them in this quantity ever. It was just a really nice opportunity to pick up all of these cards at once. And this is just some of my favorite art. And I mean, the print quality, to my knowledge, was very rough for this era, and the print quantity was also fairly low because it was kind of a lull for Pokemon. So you have a lot of factors that kind of drive into the scarcity of level X. And these I've put in. I was thinking I initially purchased these to kind of like run the gamble on grading some of them. But what I might end up doing is just throwing those level X's into a binder and kind of just sitting on them. I think I put, we have 2 more EXs. I picked up this Mewtwo EX. This Mewtwo and Ho-Oh were from the same collection as the level X. These are much more on the actual played side of light play. But I mean, these are 2 like big cards, Mewtwo EX and Ho-Oh EX. Those are pretty big hits. And outside of those ultra rares, I picked up 2 of like the Platinum era shinies. This Gardevoir was light play. This is a pretty nice card. If you don't know, the cards that don't have the holographic border, so the yellow border in English and the silver border in Japanese, these are the rarer shinies from this era. They were much lower seeded into the actual packs. So these are harder to pull. They're much scarcer. So I picked up that, and then I picked up this Dusknoir. And if you know anything about these cards, you know that they're pretty rough a lot of the time. This is one of the nice things about going to conventions is I think there's quite a bit of variance on this card near mint online. But I thought this was actually a beautiful, clean copy. This was just a really cheap card. It's like a $4 trainer, but I just thought that felt really cheap for an X and Y trainer artwork that was pretty clean. This was like actual near mint, and I threw this in. I pretty much got this for free because I was bundling it with that Meganium EX you saw earlier. Then I picked up some hollow foils from that era. From the EX the Diamond and Pearl, I picked up Sceptile. I picked up a set of Armaldo from EX Power Keepers. I got the regular hollow and the reverse hollow. And then this really cool Blaziken. These were all around that near mint, like light play plus the near mint. I kind of thought that these 3 were near mint. That's why I picked them up. And you know, after I got home, I realized the Sceptile was a little bit rougher. But again, like the print quality isn't the best. So honestly, I think out of the pack, the condition isn't much different. And if I can get, you know, pseudo pack fresh hollow rares from these sets for less than $10, it seems like a pretty good bargain. Obviously, like that's just my way of rationalizing a lot of purchases. It's not necessarily going to be worth a lot, but I can at least justify to myself why I bought them. Then I picked up this really nice set of Legend pieces. You have Palkia and Dialga. Again, this is something it's really tough to find in decent shape, and this was a really nice set. I think these Legend pieces came from the same collection as these level X's. And then to round it out, I just picked up some Golurk V alt arts. I was able to get these for less than TCG prices. If a seller has a couple key cards that I want, like those EXs, I will end up buying the EXs. I'll have them put the EXs aside, and then I'll just go through and pick out kind of like the cheap modern stuff. Like alt arts are a pretty good stable thing to throw in because alt arts sell very often on TCG Player, and you know, if I can get them for less than what I would get after fees on TCG Player, it seems like a pretty good way of getting a better deal on the actual stuff that you want. It's all about that bundling at conventions. And to end off Pokemon, this is a pretty big one I forgot about. This is Typhlosion T17 from, I believe, Neo Revelation, first edition. people know this is the big card from the set. Really nice swirl there. This was a really beautiful copy. I mean, I don't really want to take it out of the sleeve, but this to me was an immaculate looking piece. The issue was that it had some scratching and then print lines on the hollow. I thought this had a shot at 8+, so I picked that up. And then I also got some Weiss. I've been wanting to finish up my JoJo Bizarre Adventure Weiss set, but the cards themselves are so expensive. So if I can ever get one for a great deal, like a good deal, I'll buy it. So I was able to get Giorno Giovanni at the event. And then this is another set that I wanted to start doing, which was the Mob Psycho Weiss set. I'm a huge fan of the anime. It's one of my favorites. And I was able to get the SPs for, a little bit below market. And as I said, it's just a set I wanted to do, so I picked them up. But yeah, that was it. This was a pretty expensive Collecticon haul. I honestly think I spent way more money than I expected. And a lot of the money is in this T17 and that Giorno JoJo Weiss card. Those were really, really rough in terms of bank account. But yeah, thanks for watching. That's all I have for now. And yeah, have a nice one. Hope to see you at the next convention. Bye.